Hey guys, it's Brent from Team Draw Better, and today I'm going to be showing you 3 basic combos for Chimera today, and along with a couple test hands later in the video. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and without further ado, we're just going to get straight into it. So the first combo I'm going to be showing you guys is when you just have Cornfield Codal in hand. Now, Codal, I would say, is your basic 1-card combo for the deck, because you discard this card and then you search anything that mentions Chimera Fusion. So you can search Gazelle, Baphomet, or Mirror Sword Knight. But we're going to get started. So we're going to discard Codal to the graveyard to search for something that mentions Chimera Fusion. And the card that we're going to search is Mirror Sword Knight. And the reason why we're searching Sword Knight is because when we eventually get Chimera out on board, this way we're going to have a monster negate, and we're going to have targeting protection off of Codal right away when this hits the field. So that's the reason why we're grabbing Sword Knight. So we have Sword Knight in hand. We're going to normal summon Mirror Sword Knight, and then we're going to activate its effect, tributing itself to special summon another monster that mentions Chimera Fusion from the deck. And the one that we're going to summon is going to be Baphomet. Now, on summon, Baphomet's effect lets you add both Gazelle and Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand. So we're going to go ahead and add Gazelle, and we're going to add Chimera Fusion. So the next thing, because we have both these in hand and Baphomet on field, we're going to go ahead and activate Chimera Fusion using Big Wing Baphomet and Gazelle. And we're going to fuse both of these together to make Chimera. Now, on resolution of Chimera Fusion, you're going to want to chain block your effects to protect the most important ones. Now, the one that I normally do is you're going to go chain 1 Gazelle. When Gazelle's used as fusion material, you can add a illusion beast, you can add an illusion monster from your deck to your hand. So this is normally chain 1 for me. Then I go chain 2 Big Wing Baphomet. When Baphomet's used as fusion material, you can target a illusion in the graveyard and special summon it back out to the field. So our target for that is going to be Mirror Sword Knight. And then we're going to go chain 3 Chimera to hand rip your opponent during the end phase. So this is going to resolve. It'll obviously resolve backwards. So Chimera will go first, then Baphomet to special out Sword Knight. And Gazelle is going to add us, let me see. Gazelle is going to add us Nightmare Apprentice. So continuing this, actually, you don't even have to continue here. This is practically good enough to end on, because what you can do now is you can bring back Chimera Fusion to your hand because you control Chimera, the flying mythical beast. So you can add this back to your hand. And then at the end of your turn, you can set it. Well, at the end of your main phase, you can set it, and then you have multiple interactions here. So, number 1, during your end phase, you get the hand rip. Number 2, during your opponent's turn, you're going to have a monster negate with Sword Knight, and you're going to have targeting protection with Codal. So, those two are really nice. And normally the thing that I do during your opponent's standby phase, you go ahead and shotgun Sword Knight right away. Use his effect because it's a quick effect. And you special summon out the other Big Wing Baphomet. And Baphomet's going to trigger on summon again to grab you another Gazelle and another Chimera Fusion. And the reason why you do this is because hand advantage is really nice. And also, a majority of the time, with your set Chimera Fusion, you're going to wait. You can use your Sword Knight monster negate, and if, your opponent targets, say, Chimera to try to remove it, you can also banish Codal to protect. So let's say we use up both of our negates. Now, the only other interaction that we really have is Chimera Fusion. So let's say your opponent starts building a board. You're going to go ahead and flip Chimera Fusion. Now, we have 2 monsters on board. We have 2 monsters in hand. So what we can do here, Chimera doesn't really have any other purpose because both the negates got used. So what we can do, we can fuse Chimera, Baphomet, and Gazelle. And on our opponent's turn, we can go into Guardian Chimera. So what's nice about this is you can chain block it. And for the most part, I'm going to use the same chain block combo that I did for Chimera, only excluding Baphomet this time because I do not have targets in the grave because we use both the negates. So what we're going to do, we're going to go chain 1 Gazelle, or no, we're going to go chain 1 Guardian Chimera, I'm sorry, and then we're going to go chain 2 Gazelle. And then that'll resolve. So Gazelle, in this case, we want the most interaction possible. So Gazelle is going to grab Emissary from the House of Wax. And then Guardian Chimera is going to resolve. So because we used 2 monsters from field and 1 from the hand, we're going to draw 1 card and pop 2 cards on the field. So we're going to cut. We're going to see what we draw off of Guardian. We grab Diabelles. Okay, that's not terrible. So that'll resolve, and then we can just clear our opponent's board just like that. And then if for some reason they can keep playing, we have Emissary from the House of Wax if they decide to go to the battle phase and attack over Guardian Chimera. Because as soon as they attack, he special summons and he turns off everything in attack position. So yeah, there's a pretty standard combo number 1. On to number 2. So the second combo I want to show you guys is if in your hand you have Nightmare Apprentice and Edgem Chain. Now what's really cool about this is for Nightmare Apprentice you have to discard a card in order to special summon her. So we're going to start this combo. We're going to say effect of Nightmare Apprentice. We're going to discard Edgem Chain in order to special apprentice. So what's cool is because we discarded Edgem Chain and it's sent to the graveyard, we can actually get its effects because Apprentice discarded it. So on summon, Apprentice is going to search an illusion monster, and when Edgem Chain is going to be sent to graveyard, you can add any Patchwork card. Or Frightfur card, sorry. Patchwork is the card we're going to be searching. So on a chain, we're going to go chain 1 Apprentice, chain 2 Edgem Chain, because as far as Ash Blossom, this is the one that you want to resolve the most, because if they Ash Edgem Chain, you can still go grab Mirror Sword Knight. You haven't normal summoned yet, so you could go grab Mirror Sword Knight off of Apprentice, normal summon it, and then go through your Chimera plays just like that. But in this instance, we're not going to say you get ashed, so we're going to go chain 1 Apprentice, chain 2 Edgem Chain. Edgem Chain is going to grab Frightfur Patchwork, and Nightmare Apprentice is going to grab Mirror Sword Knight. Alright, so now we have Apprentice on field. You have Sword Knight in hand, but we want to try to get as much hand advantage as we want real quick. So what we're going to do before we summon Sword Knight, we're going to activate Patchwork in order to grab another Edgent monster and Polymerization from the deck to the hand. So we're going to grab a Poly, and we're going to grab another Edgent Chain. So that way, just in case these plays don't go through, we still have other options. So that'll go to grave. So now we have 3 cards in hand. We got Poly, Edgem Chain, and Mirror Sword Knight. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to normal summon Sword Knight. And we're going to activate its effect, attribute itself to special summon from the deck. Now, normally the one you want to go for is Baphomet. However, this time, because we don't want to fusion lock ourselves because we can go into other extra deck monsters, the monster we're going to summon is Gazelle. And Gazelle on summon is going to search for either Chimera Fusion or a level 5 Fiend. Now, because we have Poly in hand, what we can do is we can actually just go ahead and grab the Chimera Fusion, because the reason behind this is we can still go into our Chimera monsters because Edgemp Chain is a Fiend, Gazelle is a Beast. So we can still make Chimera, we can still make the Baphomet Fusion, and we'd be totally fine. So what we're going to do next, we're going to save our Chimera Fusion, and we're going to go Poly, and we're going to fuse Gazelle, and we're going to fuse Edgemp Chain, and we are going to go into Chimera. And on res of this, we're going to go the usual chain. We're going to go chain 1 Gazelle, chain 2 Chimera to hand rip during the end phase. And Gazelle is going to add the Codal, just so we can have our targeting protection. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to discard Codal to grave to search something that mentions Chimera Fusion. And because we didn't have Big Wing Baphomet before, we do now. So now, next thing we can do, we're going to go Chimera Fusion, and we're going to fuse Chimera, and we're going to fuse Baphomet, and we're going to go into Baphomet, the mythical king of phantom beasts. So another new chain. This time it's going to be chain 1 Baphomet, because you care more about this going through in this instance. So we're going to go chain 1 Fusion Baphomet, chain 2 Little Baphomet, and your target is going to be Mirror Sword Knight. So the cool thing about this is Baphomet only locks you into fusions when it's special summoned. If it's just used for fusion summon material, you're not locked. You're completely fine from going into any other extra deck monster. So that's what's neat about this. But that chain will resolve, so we're going to special out Sword Knight. And then Fusion Baphomet is going to Foolish Burial a... Where is she? Let me see. So Fusion Baphomet is going to Foolish Burial Diabels. And the reason why we're doing this is we're going to have like a little floodgate out with our end board just to really control what our opponent can do. So Diabels is getting dumped to the grave. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to add Chimera Fusion back to our hand because we control Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast. Actually, it doesn't matter where it's from because we could add this back because Chimera is in graveyard. You don't need to have one of these fusion monsters on field in order to add this back. You can have it on field or in grave. That's what's really nice about Chimera Fusion. So we're going to add this back. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to Synchro Summon using Apprentice and Sword Knight, and we're going to bring out Chaos Angel. Now, this was made using a Light and Dark, so both of its effects are going to be live. It's going to be unaffected by monster effects, and no monsters can be destroyed by battle. So this is really nice to be able to make in Chimera now. Like, it really powerful monster. But continuing on, we don't really have anything else to do, so we're going to set Chimera Fusion. We're going to go end phase. Chimera's effect is going to trigger to hand rip your opponent, and then we're going to pass over to them. And during their standby phase, we're going to use Chimera's effect Engrave. We're going to banish itself, and we're going to target the Diabells to special summon itself. So now we have a bunch of interaction with our opponent. We have a monster negate. We have targeting protection with Codal. We have a anti-spell with Diabells. And Chaos Angel is Chaos Angel. And we also have a set Chimera Fusion. So we have a decent amount of interaction, and this board is pretty good. So we're going to move on to combo number 3. So the next combo I'm going to show you guys is the OTK route with Chimera the Illusion Beast. And he doesn't get very big. He's only a 3100 attack, but the kicker is his effect. So when you attack into one of your opponent's monsters, you can activate his effect, which what it does is when it battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by battle, but at the end of the damage step, if it battled a monster, you can change the opponent's monster's attack to 0, and its effects are permanently negated while it's on field. So it's a really nice card for OTK, especially if your opponent has a Link monster on field. Like, they're just asking to be killed. So we're going to go ahead and show you that combo, and we're going to show you how to OTK your opponent. So for this combo, we're just going to say our hand has Sword Knight and Edge Imp Chain in hand. So these aren't bad to have because these can easily get you to the OTK route. So what we're going to do, we're going to normal summon Mirror Sword Knight, activate its effect in order to special summon from deck Big Wing Baphomet. And we don't care about being fusion locked because we're going to go try to kill our opponent. So being fusion locked doesn't hurt because our end goal is to get to Chimera the Illusion Beast anyway. So we're going to activate Baphomet's effect in order to grab Gazelle, and we're going to grab Chimera Fusion. So we're going to next activate Chimera Fusion, and we're going to use the Gazelle and Baphomet to fusion summon Chimera the Phantom Beast. And we're going to do the normal chain. We're going to do chain 1 Gazelle, chain 2 Baphomet, targeting Mirror Sword Knight, and chain 3 to hand rip your opponent. So that'll resolve. Baphomet will special the Sword Knight. And then Gazelle will add the Nightmare Apprentice. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to discard Edge Imp Chain in order to special Nightmare Apprentice. And we're going to do the same chain with those as we did before. We're going to go chain 1 Apprentice and chain 2 Edge Imp Chain. So Edge Imp Chain is going to add the Fright Fur Patchwork. And Apprentice is going to add us Codal. And the reason why, we just want to make sure we get a decent amount of protection with this. So the next thing, we're going to add back Chimera Fusion from grave to hand because we control Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to discard Codal to search. And this is just going to be for a little extra material. And possibly follow up if you can't kill them. So we're going to add another Sword Knight off of Codal. Now what we're going to do, we're going to activate Fright Fur Patchwork to add us another Edge Imp monster and Poly. So we're going to add another Edge Imp Chain, and we're going to add the Poly. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to activate polymerization. We're going to fuse Chimera and Edgemp chain together, and we're going to make the Berfamet fusion. So the Berfamet fusion is going to Foolish Burial, Master Tau the Chanter. So when Master Tau is sent to graveyard, you can target one illusion monster to special summon from the grave in defense position. Yes. You can target an illusion and special summon it in defense position. So the reason why we're doing this is we want our illusion beast to get as many attacks as possible when we bring it out to the field. So we're dumping Master Tau to grave with the Berfamet fusion. Master Tau is going to target the Codal to special summon it to the field in defense. So we're going to special out Codal. And the last thing we're going to do before we go to the battle phase is we're going to activate Chimera Fusion, and we're going to fuse all these together. Apprentice, Sword Knight, Codal, and the Berfamet fusion in order to go into our Chimera the Illusion Beast. So because we used 4 materials to summon out the Illusion Beast, he gets 4 attacks during the battle phase. And that's all you need, because if your opponent has an attack position monster, you'll go Illusion Beast into the monster, and on damage step, you're going to activate its effect, turn it to 0, and then you get to attack for 31, 62, and then 93 for game with those 3 additional attacks. So that's how you OTK your opponent. So I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. I tried to do my best to show you a few combos that Chimera can do. Can make some pretty decent end boards, but if you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. And if you have any questions about any Chimera combos or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments down below as well. And subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos, guys. Thanks for watching. See ya.